The gold to silver ratio is one of the most important indicators or tools in your arsenal that most people probably don't even know what it's for or why it even matters. If it's used correctly, it can be one of the most powerful tools in your stacking strategy to possibly know what or when to buy either gold or silver. So let's break everything down in today's video about the GSR. Want to win 100 ounces of American Silver Eagles completely free? Well, JM Bullion is giving away 5 full tubes of 100 coins packed in a custom waterproof Pelican case. There is no purchase necessary, and the giveaway ends September 11th of this year. And if you want to get in on this opportunity, click the link in the description below to enter for your chance to win. And just to be clear, JM Bullion is not sponsoring this channel in any sort of way. This is me just wanting to pass this opportunity along to help you guys out. So don't miss out on this. Click the link in the description and enter for your chance to win 100 ounces of free silver. Hi everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. So what is the gold to silver ratio? Or to shorten the phrase, we're going to say GSR throughout this video. And essentially the GSR is how many ounces of silver it takes to equal 1 ounce of gold. And at the end of this video, or perhaps even in the beginning of it if you caught it, you'll see just how much it takes with a complete visual to get 87 ounces of silver and what that looks like to get 1 ounce worth of gold. And to give you a number at the time of today's recording, it takes approximately 87 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold, and that is being done on September 8th at around almost 9 p.m. for me at the time of this video. So that's where we stand as of today, but I'll explain in a bit more what that number, like 87 or any other number, is going to indicate other than the quantities needed for an exchange, because there is a strategy depending on the number of what the GSR is. And just to give you a little bit of context, historically speaking, the GSR used to be much lower at around 15 to 1, I believe. And throughout history, that ratio has been a rough estimate, and I think it even got to as low as 2 to 1. And could you imagine 2 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold? That would just be insane. But just as history has a historical low, we are currently part of the historical high as far as the US dollar is concerned. And the ratio peaked around 121 back in 2020 during the pandemic. So we got recently, well, I should say recently, we got close to that at around 105 earlier this year, but it has dropped since back into the high 80s and into the 90s. And the main reason why we even see these numbers is due to our fiat currency losing its value and the fact that we had been tied to a gold standard. And if we were still on the gold standard, that number or the ratio would not be as high as it is today. So why does the GSR matter? Well, I know a lot of people don't like to utilize it, and that's completely fine. This isn't a perfect system by any means. I personally think that this is the best indicator or tool that we have, and if you follow the strategy like I do. And essentially, I make my decision on what metal to purchase based off of what the number is. And here's my view on it, and I'm going to give you a very simple visual to look at. If the GSR is above 80, I'll purchase silver exclusively. If the GSR is below 60, I'll purchase gold exclusively. And anything in between from that 61 to 79 range is just a bit of a crapshoot or an area of really who has the better deal that's going on. And I don't stop purchasing in that area. I just become a little bit more picky on which metal that I go for. Now, you can choose your own range if you like, but I believe the 60 and 80 range are widely accepted in the stacking community. And typically, when the GSR is higher, like 80 or above, silver is undervalued compared to gold. And vice versa, if the GSR is low, like 60 or less, silver is relatively overvalued or expensive when compared to gold. And that's why knowing what the number is at any given time is important for an individual to determine what to purchase. And you can go on any chart and find and pick whichever time frame that you want and look at the GSR at whether how high it was or how low it was, and you'll be able to see as well how silver behaved in terms of its relative price movements at those same periods of time. And one more thing, if you want to just quickly gauge the market on whether we're in a bull or a bear market, just to make it simple for you all, if the GSR is high, then we are in a bear market. If it's lower, we are in a bull market. So if it goes up, the markets for precious metals gets worse, and if it goes down, then the precious metals market actually is better as an investor. And you can see that if you look on this chart. For example, the GSR was back at 105 back in April, and since then it's dropped down to back around 87. And we have seen silver and gold make runs lately, pushing new all-time highs for gold, and silver breaking out into this $40 level recently. And if this trend in the latest upswing in metals prices continue, then you could expect the GSR to drop even further. But all of that depends on whether or not gold is going to outpace silver or not. Because that saying we all know that when gold leads and silver follows is true. Gold has led over the last few years and seems to be starting a bit of a part 2 run, while silver is just starting its run from the first half of gold's attempt. So to make it simple, gold over the last few years started to take off, hitting new all-time highs. Silver did nothing. Now silver is starting to do something. So I think we're seeing a delayed reaction from it, where gold's first push is now being followed by silver, and now this potential second push from gold, maybe another few years down the line, will push silver even further. So that could go even higher if this trend continues. Now, I made a video on what the last 2 bull runs resulted in a while back, but essentially from the height of the bull market into the end stages, the GSR drops on average about 32% from its high to its low. So just for fun hypotheticals, if we started our GSR at 122, a 32% drop from that would put the GSR at around 83, which is pretty close to where we're at today. So it is possible that we could be at the end of the run, but who really knows? The reasons for why metals are pushing up now versus what they did back then are completely different, so it might not be fully reliable or even fair to compare prior scenarios. Either way, the point of the GSR, in my opinion, is to know which metal to purchase based off what is cheaper relative to gold. Trying to accurately time markets and use the GSR for that might not be the best option, but it does give you a strong pulse check on where things currently stand. And more importantly, you can even trade with the GSR. So if you wanted to buy silver at today's levels of 87 with the GSR, then if the GSR drops to 50, for example, you can take 50 of the 87 that you bought and trade it in for a full ounce of gold, leaving you with an extra 37 ounces of silver for you to enjoy. And it works the other way too, but that's going to be your decision on whether or not you want to part gold into silver. I personally do not do that, but buying silver cheap at a high GSR can let you get gold for cheaper when the GSR drops. It's just a good strategy to use when the time is right. So that's the basics of the GSR, and what you see on the table right now in silver is how much it currently takes to buy 1 ounce of gold, assuming that the gold back on the left here is 1 ounce, of course, which is not, but you get the point. It helps you ignore all the noise and allows you to focus on your buying strategy just by simply watching the ratio. That being said, let me know what you guys think about the GSR. Do you guys follow it? What is your strategy for buying or trading into gold and silver? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.